All right, today I want to bring y'all in on a little discussion with my brother and I. We want to talk about the spiritual and ethical ramifications of organ donation. Because I'm a firm believer that if you think that we are all one and we're all part of each other and we're all connected to this thing that we call life, and our bodies are just here, they're just vessels for our consciousness. If our consciousness lives on after we're gone, then why would you not donate part of your housing, your tools, once your body is gone to someone else so they can live and experience life? Because we have a huge list of organ donations. For what reason? Why wouldn't everyone want to be and feel it's their spiritual duty to donate their parts that give them life to other people? I mean, when you're dead and gone, if your consciousness lives on, whether you believe in Christianity or a myriad of other religions, we believe that our bodies are just tools, vessels for our consciousness, for our spiritual, eternal life afterwards. So why wouldn't you want to donate part of those tools to help someone else live on? Not only can it help just one other person with your body and your organs, but you can help out a multitude of people. Even things as simple as someone that gets burned in a fire. Their house could catch fire and they've lost everything, and then they have third-degree burns, and they're trying to figure out how to put their life back together with all these crazy vicious scars. Once I'm gone, my skin can be grafted onto that person, and it's not a life altering operation, but it changes the quality of their life. Even if you're not saving someone else's life, you're still drastically altering and changing the quality of someone's life. So I just wanted to bring a couple topics up and just have a little discussion about this. Mr. Schmidt, some thoughts?
I think it's a fantastic discussion. And to answer your question as to why, well, there are many denominations in the Christian world that believe that the human body is to be buried, and then at the time of judgment, your body will be resurrected. So that is in that way, the people have grown in this fashion or this way of belief that your body is going to somehow be connected to you for eternity. And unless you really are, you have some mental problems with logic and understanding, or your body itself is sort of like what we talked about earlier today. You know, if you look at your body, your fingernails, we clip them off, our eyelashes and eyebrows fall out, we get haircuts, we exhale parts of our body every time we breathe, we shed our skin nonstop. It is a scientific fact that you are a different person every several years. And so if your body is new, regenerating itself and expelling itself on a constant basis, well, what do you are no longer. Uh, how do you word this where you think, well, if your body is a fluid, it is constantly changing, and then when your life force leaves your body, that energy is gone, but that energy can be transmitted and used by someone else who still has the energy in their body. It can re-electrify your organs. It can be used. But if it is not used, well, it goes away. No matter how much formaldehyde or how much preservatives you put in the body uh, to set it into this casket that is going to sit there for however long, sooner or later, that body is going to be gone. Uh, Either by putting it into a grave or by uh, cremation. Sooner or later, it's just gone. And no matter what your beliefs, if you believe your body's coming back, well, your body's going to be doing a lot of super miraculous things that are far beyond the laws of nature and the laws of physics for sure.
Not only is it beyond the laws of physics and nature, but I know from my own personal family, my mother believes that when she gets put in the ground, she wants to be in a fiberglass vault and then cemented over the top of that, and also in a casket. So it seems strange to me that if that's for a Christian purpose, that your body is going to be resurrected when Jesus comes back, you're still going to be trapped in a vault in the ground. Doesn't that seem worse than slowly decaying? Because just imagine if your body does come back to life and then you're trapped in a vault and you can't get out. You're going to die again pretty quickly. You're going to run out of air. Then you're going to be buried alive.
But according to that belief, it's a spiritual body, whatever that means.
Then why not dispose of your real body, your life body? Not really dispose, but recycle and reuse to help someone else in their journey of life.
It only makes sense, especially as we have gotten into a situation where we know that my liver could help someone else, my kidneys could help someone else, my eyes, every part of your body could have some use beyond me. I'm not going to know.
No, you're not going to know at all.
There's no way to know. We get. I think that we also get into this notion that we are separate from nature. We are separate from the earth. We live in cities primarily. We live in. We don't know where our food comes from. So if we don't feel the earth and understand who and what we are to begin with, and we become so detached from what the life force of the world and the heavens, and well, of course you have people that feel like, oh God, there's a bug, I'm freaked out. Oh, there's this wild animal, I'm scared. You're detached from everything, and you think, oh well, if I'm dead, I still love my body. I want it to be in a nice place. I want my hair fixed. I want to be buried in this suit that's nobody ever going to see me in. I want to be, in pajamas or whatever you think you want to be buried in. When people think, oh, I'm going to be buried forever. How many times have I heard that? Well, if I'm going to be buried and I'm going to be in that casket, I want to have my best whatever. I want to have my most comfortable pajamas.
Or a really nice casket that's going to go on the ground. You're going to spend several thousands of dollars on a casket, which is basically a trash can. I mean, let's be honest. It's a trash can that you're going to throw in the ground.
Yeah, and it's only going to be visible for a few minutes for some people that knew you and wanted to pay some respects, or just to be seen, or to go there and go to social media and say, oh, I went to there. Oh, my heart's whatever. They're superficial nonsense.
Superficial nonsense. It seems very strange to me that even in a Christian religion that's based on doing good things for people and a vast emphasis on charity, that donating your body would not be top of the list. And whether you're Christian, believe in doing good charity to people, or you believe that you come back in a reincarnation cycle, wouldn't you want your last gift to humanity be just that, a gift to humanity, and turn that karma cycle in your benefit? That, hey, look, I might have died, but I helped out this little boy that got burned, or I helped out this guy that happened to have a heart flaw and now he can live and he's promising. I helped out this person, that person. I mean, whether you're Christian or you believe in some other form of religion, you're still putting a positive spin on your karma circle. Like, I helped a lot of people on my way out. I didn't get a vault and concrete and cost a huge carbon footprint for something that's going to be wasted. You got wasted real estate, wasted plastics and fibers, wasted all that machine stuff that you got to do for caskets and burials. I mean, it just seems absolutely insane. I mean, even if you don't want to donate your body, and if you just want to give back to just Mother Earth and the planet that we all live on, wouldn't you want to just be literally put in the ground and have a tree put on top of you? So at least you're making nice, clean air for the rest of the planet.
It has been a tradition throughout history and different cultures that you would bury your dead and plant something on top of it, whether it's a tree has been common in many cultures. Doesn't that seem to make sense? That you can actually, that body that you cared for, you hope you cared for, most people don't care for their body. It is our living and breathing temple. It houses our consciousness. And when it is discarded, we are no longer living in our fleshly temple. Why wouldn't you allow all the nutrients that remain to actually do something and bear fruit? Bear fruit for others and helping, and actually bear fruit in a positive way by having a tree on top of you. So you can nourish the tree and have a wonderful place to go besides a depressing, spooky, Halloween feeling sort of cemetery.
Yeah, I know. I would like to have a loved one buried under a tree that you can still go and visit and be a part of them. For instance, if you bury a fruit tree or a nut tree, and in several years that starts to bear and produce fruit from the nourishment that your loved one's body has given it, you can still be with them and feel their spirit and their soul in the fruit of the tree that has been brought back. So you can relive those encounters, not from that cemetery where you see people just put flowers. Oh, hey, it was Maywork and I put flowers on my mom's grave. See how great I am? Or we kept the grass cut over there. Look how great we are. Hey, they never go and visit their loved ones. It's in a depressing cemetery. I'm surrounded by a bunch of other
rocks that are
meaningless. Yeah, meaningless, cold rocks, instead of a vibrant, living tree that you can still go back to and reminisce and sit under that tree and eat the fruit of the tree and maybe read a book and spend some actual quality time with your deceased loved ones.
Or just the fact that a cemetery is a big waste of space. There are no gardens on top. There is no housing on top. There is no life force on top except grass and shrubs. They're pretty depressing. And not only is it a waste of space, it is continually a waste of resources and a waste of fuel. You go to some of these cemeteries that are massive, and they spend non-stop workers out there with those gas-guzzling weed eaters and blowers and mowers. For what?
Yeah.
Those people don't know.
Not only they don't know, but in 2 generations, the kids and the grandkids are gone too. So who's really there to see that?
Those dead bodies are still there.
Yeah.
Because they're encased in the plastic vault that you have to put them in now in most states.
Yeah, you've got to put them in.
Yeah, it's a sad set of circumstances. I think it does change the karmic cycle when your last thing on this planet, when you're leaving your bodily temple to say, hey, I am going to help whoever needs this to live. A father that wants to spend more time with his kids, but he just had a heart attack. Yeah, maybe.
Or a kid that's suffering from some kind of childhood illness, cancer, burn victims, anything. You're sacrificed. Well, not even sacrificed. You're just giving it away because you're not there anymore.
You don't know.
Yeah, you can help so many people. So hopefully watching this video, it will at least change your mind if you did not already think about organ donation, or if you have thought about it, hopefully it gives you a new positive light of thinking, one day I'm going to have to leave this earth, but when I go, I do want to put a positive last hurrah out there and really bring it back and keep that circle of good karma and life flowing. Okay, so we had some new information that has been brought to light that also we would like to talk about. Along with the organ donation, I think a lot of people's fears is that they'll have some kind of disfigurement in their body, that they can't have an open casket, or they're going to look funny, that their eyes are taken out, they won't look right, or their organs are taken out, that it won't look proper when you're doing a burial. Especially, I think mothers have a big fear of that if they have to bury their children, which obviously is a very devastating thing for anyone. No one wants to bury their children. And they think, well, if I'm going to get one last look at them, then I would like them to look as whole as possible. But again, I would challenge you, even if they don't look quite right. You're not going to take pictures of this event. It's going to be a small moment in their history and time. And wouldn't it be better if your child could preserve life in someone else's child? If your child dies, wouldn't you want to save someone the heartache that you have just felt, or save multiple people the heartache of what you just felt? Especially you hear some of the stories of people coming together with their son or daughter's heart donor, and they have that big reunion where the mother of the deceased kid gets to listen and hear the heartbeat of their own son or daughter in someone else. That bringer of light and blood is now pumping for someone else. And isn't that really more powerful than almost the vanity of wanting to look good on your death day?
Well, I think that is a very valid point, and we have to thank the illustrious Mrs. Schmidt. That would be my Mrs. Schmidt. That
Thanks, Jill.
so we're talking about this after we stop, and then so we enter back into this because we feel like it is as a vital sort of additional perspective that if you're so concerned, if the ego gets in the way and vanity, that you're so worried about your immediate sphere of people that are going to be viewing a loved one, and you don't want to sustain and promote life in others just because you fear what they may look like in a casket. First of all, they're dead anyway. They're going to look different no matter what. No matter how many funerals you've ever been to, you knew the person that was alive. Now they're dead in a casket, and they've never looked the same. Nobody in a casket looks like they did right before they died, ever.
No, because all the life is drained out of them.
No matter how much makeup you put on them, no matter what suit that you may recognize, no matter what you do, they look vastly different. So you can't change that no matter what. What you can change is utilizing that life to sustain life and let positive, the aspect of that positive energy that they had to be carried forth in somebody else. Because no matter what, they're dead. I mean, it's a harsh reality and very painful. It is not easy to say goodbye to someone that you love.
But I think that's one of the beauties of what we're talking about, is the donating of your organs, is you don't necessarily have to say goodbye. I mean, within your own family, you could have someone else that needs your son or daughter or mother, child, whatever's organs, and then you can have a deeper connection with someone that's in your town, in your state, in your block, or just build a lifelong friendship with someone from somewhere else, that y'all have a new spiritual connection, that y'all helped each other.
Yeah, for sure. And some people that I love this point that Jill brought up a minute ago, that some people have an issue with, what if I give my organs and some or all of my organs go into people that I don't particularly like, whether they may be alcoholics that destroy their liver. What if they go on and continue to be alcoholics and destroy my liver, which is no longer your liver at that point. But those are valid concerns. Like, what if my heart goes to some religious sect I don't agree with? What if you're just a diehard Christian and you can't stand Muslims, or vice versa? And you go, well, I can't do that because I don't want that to happen. There's a lot of that, but in this world, the deeper that you think, the deeper that you attempt meditation, the deeper that you start to understand nature and the reality of things on a more fundamental level, you start to realize that we are all connected, no matter what your beliefs, no matter what your faults. And I think if we say, okay, I have made mistakes, so what if, if I'm about to die and this person goes, oh, I changed my mind, I don't, they're dying or they just died, but and his heart would have been compatible to mine or whatever the circumstance, and I said, no, I wouldn't really wanted it to go to that Kevin because he was some rude guy, to somebody that I knew or so, whatever. And you go, that implies that people can't change in the first place. It would be sad that we don't perpetuate the positive nature of life and the opportunity for people to learn and grow and be better by denying them the right to do that by someone else's early demise.
Not only that, but worrying about if your organs are going to go to a different religious sect or people that you don't like, that's really just a form of bigotry. Just because they believe something different than what you believe does not make them a bad person. For instance, in our journey throughout the Bible and the Old Testament, I've seemed to have a much harder time relating to Christians, even though they don't really know what's in the Bible. They still perpetuate this belief that they think they know. But whether they believe what I believe or not, there's a lot of them that are still really good people, and I'm still friends with them. Just because I believe something different than what you believe does not make you a bad person. So you can believe something different and still have a positive outlook in the world. Just like in our country today, most of our doctors do not come from the United States. They come from other countries. And those other countries have different beliefs than someone else. What if you have a doctor that can completely alter the state of cancer or Alzheimer's or something like that is not eligible for a heart transplant or liver because they just don't have enough selection to get a match in time? What if everyone's organs were out there for open selection? You increase the pool greatly and you can help out people in unseen ways.
Well, I think that's exactly right. And, to deny someone life because you are fearful that your organs may go into someone that you dislike or disagree with, or again, it goes into the whole notion of another topic that we're going to talk about on another video about the harm of the personal ego, how the ego can be positive, and most often it's a very negative force for ourselves and for humanity as a whole. And if your ego stands in the way of helping someone else, that's a big sad state of circumstances we're going to discuss in other videos.
Well, just to lightly hit on just the ego portion of what you just said, again, getting over some of that bigotry and things, you got to remember, especially if you live in the United States, you're forced to pay taxes, whether it's income tax, school taxes, and that money that you earn is really just a representation of your time. You go to work and you spend your time, and for your time, you're allocated so much wealth. Then that wealth is taken from you and used for several different projects and things that you do not like and do not care for. So your time on earth is being used for those things that you don't like anyway. So why not take a risk on donating your organs that you're going to have a more positive inflect on the world than a negative? Because you're already building up a lot of negative because you were forced to have your time stolen from you to pay for things you don't agree anyway.
I agree with that. I think we should do our best to try to just take pause, take a deep breath, think what would happen in a worst case scenario if my healthy son or daughter died. What would I do? Shouldn't I make and prepare for that eventuality anyway? Especially as a parent, especially if, like for instance, a mother, there are 5 of us, so there is a strong likelihood that one of us is probably going to die before she dies. It would probably be a good idea for her to be mentally prepared for that day and to know that, okay, what are the wishes of my child? What are the wishes of their family? And and how do we make a positive effect on everybody's life? I mean, those are conversations you should have with the people that you love, because you never know when somebody may exit. And if you take pause and really think about it and consider the positive and negative effects of giving of your organs, maybe you'll come to a different circumstance or belief system of how to move forward in that eventuality. Because if you just act rationally in the emotional heightened state of, oh God, they're gone, but you never had those conversations, you never talked about it, and then someone approaches you about it, you might just be totally emotionally shut off. And later, after it's too late, you may regret that, because you're like, wow, they sure could have helped somebody else. And it's too late, because you never thought about it, or if you did think about it, you did not plan for it.
That is one of the serious goals that we have here, is to open up people's thinking and true spirituality, not from some of these religious texts, but your own spirituality, what you really think and believe. And I would like to almost turn that question around of what you just said of, oh, it's too late, or I'm thinking about this, or what am I going to do? Well, turn that question around for yourself, is what would you want if you were in a situation where you needed the heart, or your kid needed the heart? Just to put yourself in the other side of shoes. What if your kid got in a car wreck and they had some damaged portion, and it could have been solved if they could have got a heart, or they could have got the liver that was punctured, and that could have saved their life. And instead of you thinking, oh, well, let me donate their organs to save someone else, well, what if that liver or heart was available when my child was hurt, and instead of them dying, they could have lived on because someone else had already made that sacrifice?
I agree with you, sir. Well, those were very fine points, and I would like to thank Mrs. Jill Schmidt, who is a fine philosopher and stateswoman. One other point that Jill was mentioning was personality traits, that if someone takes the heart, does that have some sort of positive or negative effect on somebody else? Like, what if my heart got put into a mass murderer, or would I have a positive or negative effect on that? There are many cases where people have gotten donations or donors, whether they got a liver or kidney or whatever the case may be, where they've actually had memories of the other person's life, where they have actually taken on slight personality traits of that other one without ever knowing who and what they were until much later after the fact. And so if you are a positive person, you could actually indirectly and directly have a positive impact on perhaps more negative or equally as matched person spiritually as you are. It's an interesting philosophical and theoretical perspective on, hey, this is an option, because it is proven that not only do memories are housed and stored in the brain, but they are also stored all over your body. And so if what you are is everywhere in your body and it is exchanged and living in someone else, it does and can and will, in most cases, have some sort of profound impact on the receiver.
I think that's definitely right. Everyone's heard of muscle memory. Your muscles can do things without you even being aware of it. So then you get into the deeper aspect of, back to what is consciousness. Is your consciousness running just in your head? Is it all through your body? Does it change and exchange different ideas and thoughts with someone when you're a part of them? We know that just drinking alcohol, for example, your liver has the memory of distinguishing that alcohol molecule, and you build up a resistance to it, that your body slowly gets where it understands those things. So what if that's the same thing with positive aspects of your nature, that your body is out there giving those positive influences to someone else, just like that liver molecule, or the liver stops alcohol, maybe we'll stop those person's negative influences and build up a better tolerance to put your positive energy out there. Because I think if someone is an organ donor right now that's just watching this is thinking, well, I know I'm going to be a positive force in nature when I die. So I'm go ahead and putting those positive things out there.
Good for you, sir. Well, be sure to check out our videos. That will be here, and there, and everywhere. Mr. Smith, that was a fantastic topic. And join us again for a whole variety of discussions on how to be better people and just different thoughts that the majority just sometimes don't think about. So thank you for joining us.
Have a good day.